Ever seen something so wild? A massive chandelier comes crashing down from the heavens. Dude on the sidewalk nearly jumps out of his skin. He bolts over for a closer look. "Serious" is written on it. Now he's scratching his head. There aren't any planes hauling cargo up there. And streetlights sure don't look like that. So, where the heck did this thing drop from? But he ain't got time for deep thoughts, cause this guy's about to be late for work. He takes a quick left into the square. Suddenly, the radio's blaring.
He's making his turn onto Lancaster Square.
Dude's shook, a bit dazed. Almost smacks into some dude on the street, and the radio chimes in again. Everyone in the square freezes, hands over their ears, cringing at the ear-splitting channel flip. Our guy's totally baffled. He clocks out and heads to the beach, trying to make sense of the freaky stuff that went down. Then, out of nowhere, a downpour hits, targeting him like a heat-seeking missile. And wherever he goes, that storm follows. Guy starts feeling like he's being watched. From the moment this guy was born, he's been stuck in a mega prison. But this ain't a regular slammer. Packed with 5,000 cameras, broadcasting his every move 24/7 to 220 countries worldwide. And the big house he's in is nothing but a ginormous studio. The chandelier that came crashing down from the sky is just a movie light, mimicking the stars, even the sun and water, just props. But hold up, there's more. The moon's the director's secret HQ, where they control everything from the tides to the celestial dance of the stars, sun, and moon. If you check it out from space, you can see clear as day. This studio's the size of 10 football fields. The director calls this whole fake world Dreamland Island, but you might know it better as the Truman Show. Truman is orphaned the moment he enters the world. Yet, an astounding 1.7 billion people witness his birth. They follow Truman's journey from babbling baby to confident walker, witnessing his academic achievements, love life, and marriage. Now, Truman lives his life for a solid 30 years, every moment broadcast to a global audience. Despite starting as an orphan, Truman gains fans worldwide who embrace him as family. The economic benefits from Truman's 30 years on air are enough to fund a whole new country. To keep Truman in his ideal world, the director concocts a fake father. They even stage a father-son sea adventure, complete with raging storms and tragic shipwrecks. But tragedy strikes when Truman's dad meets his end in the deep sea, leaving Truman with a lifelong mental scar. Whenever Truman sees water, panic grips him, ensuring he never leaves Dreamland Island. The plan is foolproof, flawless. Truman steps outside, and a massive chandelier comes crashing down from the sky. There's absolutely nothing up there. And when it rains, it's like it's raining only on him. Truman's starting to smell something fishy. But what really takes the cake? Running into his dead dad smack dab in the middle of the street. Truman is utterly stunned. He saunters over for a closer look. And sure enough, it's his old man. But suddenly, out of nowhere, two strangers appear and whisk Truman's dad away onto a bus. And just like that, the Truman Show's extras come out of the woodwork to block Truman's path. Crisis averted, but the directorial crew's tough tactics trigger a memory for Truman. It takes him back to what his first love once whispered in his ear.
"It's fake. It's all for you."
That first love of his. She got nabbed by the director for spilling the beans about the real deal behind Dreamland Island. Though it's still hazy, she was yanked from Truman's world and vanished into the Truman Show. Truman's been live since day one, every second of his life broadcasted. But he's clueless, reflecting on his daily grind. It's like reading from a script, no surprises. Each morning, he hits the road and runs into that same old family of three. Like clockwork, he dishes out those lines.
Good morning! Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Even the neighbor's mutt jumps him as he hops in his ride. At the insurance joint where Truman clocks in, a couple of old geezers give him a nod. But they're just window dressing next to the billboard they're pushing. Truman's onto something. If his life's so damn perfect, someone's gotta be pulling the strings. So, he bends down to tie his kicks, then bolts into traffic. Somehow, the cars screech to a halt just in time. If nobody's watching, those wheels wouldn't have stopped. Truman stumbled upon a whole new world. He barges into some random company, and the security folks inside are panicking, frantically jabbing at their walkie-talkies, trying to get all the actors in position. Turns out, Truman still sees something fishy. The elevator's just a front for a prop room. Truman's mind is blown. He spills the beans to his childhood buddy, but the dude just chalks it up to Truman's job stress messing with his head. Little does Truman know, his buddy's in on the act too. Feeling low, Truman's itching to ditch Dreamland Island and clear his head. So the director slaps together the fake wife and mom, busts out the family photo album, hoping Truman's heartstrings will keep him grounded. But guess what Truman spots? In one of the wedding snaps, his wife's fingers are crossed. Truman finds out his wife might be cheating on him, because he spots his wife's wedding snap and picks up on her hand gesture, a symbol in Christianity that signifies an invalid marriage. Suspicion starts to gnaw at him. It dawns on Truman that everything in his world might be one big sham. To confirm his suspicions, Truman stealthily tails his wife, She's a nurse at the hospital, but if she's just a phony wife, she shouldn't be a nurse. At the hospital, Truman's spotted by one of the background nurses who quickly alerts the other shady dude. They try to cut Truman off with a cart, but he's determined to uncover the truth. He bulldozes the cart out of his way and dashes straight to the operating room. Peering through the window, Truman witnesses his wife and the doctor in action, performing surgery on a patient. Suddenly, the patient freaks out, sitting up. Now he's certain his entire life is a charade. Surgery requires anesthesia, so how could the patient be awake to feel the pain? Truman realizes that everyone around him is just acting. He wants to expose the lie, so he asks his wife to sit in the car after work and observe what's happening behind their door. Truman predicts that 3 people will show up soon: a woman riding a red bike, someone carrying flowers, and another driving a yellow car. Just as Truman finishes speaking, his wife spots the 3 individuals passing behind Truman's car. Truman informs his wife that these 3 have been circling around since he showed up. Despite her panic, his wife can only hide it with a smile. Seeing his wife's reluctance to reveal the truth, Truman takes her for a drive. Wherever Truman goes, traffic jams follow, as the director fears Truman's unusual behavior might lead him to leave Dreamland Island. So Truman decides to go off the beaten path and takes a secluded back road he'd never normally choose to drive. This guy's been live since birth, with 1.7 billion global fans, but he's in the dark about it all. Truman's on a bridge, scared stiff of the sea, so he shuts his eyes, leaving his wife to steer. The car slithers across the bridge onto a highway, and Truman thinks he's making a break from Dreamland Island, but then a wall of fire blocks the road. Truman steps on the gas, no second thoughts. Next thing, he's face to face with a cop barricade, warning of a nuclear leak, ordering Truman to turn back. Truman thanks them, only to hear,
You're welcome, Truman.
which leaves him dumbfounded. How did they know his name? Truman's rattled. He's itching to bail from this phony world, so he bolts into the woods, only to be tackled by a cop in full hazmat gear. Truman's hauled home, clueless about why the whole world's hellbent on stopping him from leaving. Truman has been secretly live-streamed since birth. One day, his wife unexpectedly grabs a bucket of cocoa powder and starts reciting an advertisement slogan. Truman is utterly shocked. What are you doing?
Who you talking to?
His wife, unable to resist, because she's been instructed to insert ads at that moment. Truman stands up and confronts his wife, demanding to know the truth about their world, but she mistakes his intensity for a murderous intent, and panics, grabbing a bunch of knives and forks for protection. Truman, ignoring her panic pleas, firmly locks her in place and snatches up the utensils. She shouts,
Do something!
Truman's anger flares.
Who you talking to?
Terrified, his wife tries to flee, but Truman pulls her back. Just then, Truman's childhood friend appears, providing a lifeline for his distressed wife. She sobs in her friend's arms, blurting out, "It was terrible. I don't want to do it anymore." Truman's still stuck in the same old mess. He's still in the dark about the truth and desperate to escape this world. But no matter how hard he tries, he can't break free. The director pulls a major move to ensure Truman willingly stays in this world. Truman finds himself surrounded by actors. Even the neighbor's dog is in on the act. The director orchestrates a heartfelt scene where Truman meets his long-lost father. Truman's childhood friend tracks down his father for the reunion, complete with smoke to set the mood. As Truman's father embraces him, promising to make up for lost time, Truman's heart melts. The emotional moment, accompanied by a soulful piano tune, tugs at the heartstrings of fans, and Truman decides to abandon his plans of leaving, opting for the comfort of his old life. To add to the drama, the director throws in a blonde bombshell who bears a striking resemblance to Truman's first love. Everything appears to return to normal, but then, Truman's childhood friend shows up one day and finds Truman sleeping. Pulling back the cover, Truman's friend discovers he has vanished. Reviewing the bedroom camera footage, Truman's friend finds it mysteriously covered by Truman himself. After sifting through 5,000 shots, there's no sign of Truman. How did he disappear without a trace? The moon disappears from the island, prompting the director to transform it into a powerful spotlight to search for Truman. Meanwhile, the actors on the island join arm in arm, scouring every corner for Truman's whereabouts. But without success. With no other option, the director decides to bring the sun up early, turning the pitch-black night into a blinding day. Then, a sudden realization dawns on the director. Truman's greatest fear, the vast ocean. Activating the harbor cameras finally leads to Truman's discovery. Truman is spotted skillfully piloting a sleek powerboat, donning a weather-beaten captain's hat. He holds a worn picture of his first love, pieced together from magazine clippings. As he prepares to depart this world in search of her, the director wants to send someone to chase after him. But these extras, none of them can sail, so the director takes matters into their own hands. In order to prevent Truman from leaving, the director unleashes a raging storm and massive waves upon the sea. Truman's been live-streamed since birth, and this time, he's finally breaking free. The waves batter him, rocking the boat violently. Truman holds on tight to the rope, trying to wrestle control of the boat. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning strikes the mast, sending Truman tumbling into the sea. With billions of viewers on the edge of their seats, the director shows no mercy. He wants Truman to realize that he can't escape his grasp and must stay on Dreamland Island. But Truman's survival instincts take over. He uses the waves to propel himself back to the boat's side, then grabs the sail and climbs back onto the powerboat. The director assumes Truman won't put up a fight and will head back immediately. But Truman shouts,
That's the best you can do! You're gonna have to kill me!
Enraged, the director unleashes the storm's fury to the max. Enormous waves engulf Truman. After 30 years of grooming, the director sees Truman as his own possession, and he's not about to let him go without a fight. This scene captures the essence of classic cinema. Wave after wave crashes over Truman, plunging him and the boat into the sea. Truman's lungs fill with seawater, and he gradually ceases to struggle. Every fan glued to the live stream is on the edge of their seat, rallying behind Truman. Finally, the director relents, putting an end to the storm, and allowing the sun to shine brightly. While the director may take pride in this 30-year-long masterpiece, he's observed Truman daily, regarding him as his own kin. Now, everything appears normal once more, and Truman reaches what seems to be the edge of the world. As he reaches out, he encounters a wall. In that moment, Truman realizes he's discovered the path to freedom. He desperately pounds on the wall, hoping to break through, but it remains as solid as a rock. Truman hits it dozens of times, but it doesn't even crack. Truman is at his wit's end. Is he doomed to never escape this false world of captivity? Just then, you ever wonder what's at the end of the ocean? Truman finds something unexpected, a staircase. He follows it along the wall and stumbles upon a sign pointing to an exit. Truman reaches out and presses it, and in the blink of an eye, a door swings open. Truman is eager to step outside, but then, the director stops him. It's their first conversation, and it will be their last. The director lays out all the truths for Truman, reminding him of the lies, deceit, and falsehoods of the outside world. He paints Dreamland Island as a place of simple happiness, a paradise of freedom, and Truman can live his best simple life of bliss. Truman just turns around, not reacting with anger or confusion. Instead, he turns to the camera with a smile, speaking from the kindest, most innocent part of his heart.
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
With that, Truman bows, and takes a step into the real world. Truman's been on the airwaves since day one, eating, sleeping, and even hitting the john. Now, with a whopping 1.7 billion followers worldwide, he's finally busting out into the real world. And guess who's there to witness the big break? His first love, sprinting out the door with her coat on, hot on his trail. Meanwhile, the fans watching the live stream are losing their minds, cheering on Truman's newfound freedom. Let's get real for a sec. Ain't we all living in our own Truman Show? From cradle to grave, it's like we're stuck on autopilot. School, work, marriage, kids. From birth to adulthood, we follow the predetermined path. Going to school, working, getting married, having kids. If we deviate from this trajectory, people around us will try to pull us back in. To pursue our dreams, we must be ready to fight against the odds. Sometimes, we get lost in the gossip, lose our way, and give up on our dreams, becoming stagnant. But remember, life is yours to live, and it's nobody else's business. If you don't live life on your own terms, you'll surely have regrets. And that's a wrap. This film is called The Truman Show. It's a real eye-opener. Go to catch the original flick. Alright, that's all for this clip. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time. Bye.